Welcome back to PTE Plus Online Classroom. Today we're going to be talking about the written section of the PTE examination, and in particular we're going to be focusing on what is summarized written text. So we're going to be giving you a broad description of the written examination, and in particular we're going to be looking at the marking criteria and what we need to do in summarized written text in order to get a good mark. So today will be excellent for those of you who haven't taken the PTE exam yet and haven't done much research. So, to start things off, let's talk about which section of the exam we're going to be covering. So obviously, as you guys know, for the speaking and writing part in part 1, it starts off with speaking before moving on to writing. So writing can be sort of divided into 3 sections. In section 3 to 4, we'll have summarized written text, and in section 6, we'll have write essay. Now, section 5 can change depending on the individual examination. You might get between 10 to 20 minutes, and you may get questions asking you to summarize written text or write an essay. So obviously this changes every test, and it just depends on the examination. So in any case, we need to prepare for both summarized written text and write essay equally. So now allow me to give you some basic information about what is summarizing written text. So SWT stands for summarizing written text, for those of you who are unfamiliar with abbreviations. You may have between 2 to 3 summarized written text tasks to finish in the writing section of the examination. Every task takes 10 minutes. Let's go in now and see what it actually looks like in the examination. So here is the sort of screen you'll be seeing in the actual examination. So at the top in bold, we've got the instructions for the passage. So let's read it together. Read the passage below and summarizing it using one sentence. Type your response in the box at the bottom of the screen, this box here. You have 10 minutes to finish this task. Your response will be judged on the quality of your writing and how well your response presents the key points in the passage. So you can see here that there are a lot of conflicting information. First of all, we have this massive passage, but it only wants us to write one sentence. So that's pretty tricky, right? And we've got a timer on the bottom right telling us that we've only got 10 minutes remaining, the word count on the bottom left, and we've also got the item count here. So the item count is actually quite important. It tells us how many questions we're going to be having with summarizing written text. It's actually really hard to say, summarizing written text. It gets easily tongue-tied. So here we've got the box in which we have to do our writing, and here we've got 3 commands: cut, copy, and paste. It's important to remember this, that you can't cut, copy, or paste the text here. It's only cut, copying, and pasting your own writing, so it's not going to be that useful for us. And obviously, when we're done with the question, we're going to press the button next to go to the next question. So let's have a look at the official PTE website to have a look at how the scores are broken down. There are a total of 8 marks allocated to each question. 4 marks go into the reading and writing section, which is broken down then into content and form. So in order to get full marks for content, we need to provide a good summary of the text. All relevant aspects are mentioned. So 2 key points here: a good summary and all relevant aspects. 1 for content provides a fair summary but misses 1 or 2 aspects. So the difference here is you're missing out on some aspects, and if you get 0, it means you omit or misinterpret the main aspects of the text. In terms of form, 1 is for written in a single complete sentence. So here, once again, we see the word single sentence. 0 is for not written in one single complete sentence or contains fewer than 5 or more than 75 words. Summary is written in capital letters. So first of all, let's talk about the word count requirement. If we remember, on the bottom left hand of the screen, we have the word count. So it wants us to have between 5 to 75 words. So whatever we do, we can make sure to be within that range. And also, it wants us to not write in capital letters. That means we don't want to have caps lock on and write everything in capitals. We need to have appropriate capital letters at the start of the sentence, and for proper pronouns like names and places. So in summary, for content, we want to summarize the main points of the text, and for form, we want one sentence with words ranging from 5 to 75 words. Now let's have a look at the other requirements for grammar and vocabulary. In terms of grammar, we'll get a total of 2 marks if we have correct grammatical structures, and we'll have 1 if we contain errors but with no hindrance to communication. So that means minor errors will get us 1 mark, And obviously, if we have more than that, if it's huge errors, then it's considered a defective grammatical structure, which could hinder communication. So obviously, we want to try to make no mistakes in the grammar section. In terms of vocabulary, 2 marks are provided for having appropriate choice of words, and 1 is for containing lexical errors with no hindrance to communication, and 0 is obviously for hindrance to communication. So what does appropriate choice of words mean? We'll be talking about that more in detail in later sessions. So in conclusion, for grammar, we want correct grammatical structures with no errors, and with vocabulary, we want appropriate word choices, preferably with no errors once again. So the takeaway from the main requirements are: 1, we have 10 minutes allocated for this particular task. We have between 2 to 3 questions, depending on the individual examination. In terms of word count, we need to stick between 5 to 75. We only need to have 1 sentence. This is very important to remember. It's only 1 sentence, so we really got to summarize things. We need to assess both the reading and writing. So what it means is that the marks here go towards reading and writing sections of the exam. So it's not just writing, but rather it goes towards reading and writing, making them 8 marks very precious. We need to provide a good summary of the content and have error-free grammar and vocabulary. So, how do we get ready for the SWT writing task, summarizing written text? We need to, first of all, read through the whole passage quickly to find the main points. We need to skip all the useless details, so that comes with practice, and it comes with techniques which we're going to teach you later in terms of identifying what is a useless detail and what is the main point. We need to understand the internal logic of the written text and be very careful not to make grammatical, vocabulary, and spelling mistakes. So obviously we're going to go on in detail about what is internal logic and how can we avoid these sort of mistakes in the later sessions. So the takeaway for today's lesson is always remember to use your time reasonably. You've only got 10 minutes, and that 10 minutes includes both reading and writing. We need to understand the text before writing, obviously, and we need to try to be error-free. Thank you for joining me today on the PTE Plus online classroom. I hope to see you soon in order to talk more about summarizing written text.